I had the title, I had the income, I had the awards, and I had the team. But one day, I looked around and I really thought, is this really it? The truth, I had built the life, but I didn't see me in it anymore. And when I realized the company I was loyal to for so many years no longer valued who I was becoming, I knew it was time to walk away. Hi, I'm Sally Arkell-Boles, host of Limitless and Midlife and founder of Sovereign Soul Mastery. After 30 plus years in high-level leadership, I walked away from a multiple six-figure corporate career. And today, I want to share the real reason why, because I know there are women watching this who feel that same pull, that whisper in your soul that says you were made for something more. And this episode is not just about walking away. It's honestly about walking back home to yourself. So you see, on the outside, I was thriving. I was in senior leadership. I had that 7-figure oversight and national recognition. I was speaking on international stages. But on the inside, I was disappearing. I was pouring my soul into a system that no longer reflected my values and no longer honored my evolution. And I'll tell you what made me stay so long. Let me know if this relates. The guilt, the obligation, the fear of what others would say, fear of judgment, fear of losing my big income, which I had worked really hard for and had come to enjoy. And the belief that I should just be grateful. But I've since learned that gratitude is not a substitute for alignment. And this has become a guiding thought for me. And I found this quote the other day, and I can't even remember who it was, so I apologize. If anybody knows, please make sure you put it in the comments. But it really resonated with me because it says, you don't need a breakdown to make a breakthrough. You just need to trust what your body and soul already know. Think about that. Take a deep breath and just contemplate that. You just need to trust what your body and soul already know. So my wake-up call, when did it happen? And how did it go? There was a moment, and it was a single moment, when I realized I was no longer meant to be in my corporate role. Honestly, it wasn't dramatic. It was honest. I had seen a lot of my colleagues that had been with the company for over 30 years starting to be let go when some new leadership had come in. And these were people that had built the business to the success that it was. And so it really disturbed me that they weren't being honored for all of the hard work they had put into the company throughout their whole career and made the company where the company really was and the success that they had. And when I started to see that, I started to question how the company was valuing leadership. And at the time, I had moved to a different place in the country with my husband following his career, but I was still working from home for my current business that was back on the West Coast. And as time went by, things started to feel a little differently. And it was when I actually understood that the company was offering me positions to move into that were really junior positions instead of the executive position I had been holding. That made me scared. it really made me scared because I thought, what's going on? What am I going to do? I don't want to have a career like that. I built my whole career over 30 plus years. Like, I shouldn't be offered this type of package or this type of opportunity. And there was one day, about a month later, after ruminating on this and feeling that fear and feeling that angst inside my gut, that what am I going to do? And who am I going to be? Who am I going to become if I have to step down to this lower level? It was not something I was desiring whatsoever. Until one day, I remember it extremely well. It was the end of October, and a light bulb went off. I, at that point, knew that the company no longer valued me. They no longer valued me from the expertise that I had, the experience that I brought to the table, the successes that I had. And it was in that moment that all of the fear dissipated. It just disappeared. I took back control of my future. And in that clarity, I truly remembered the value that I offered and the value in who I was. And what changed everything for me was when I picked up the phone and called my VP and asked for a package. I took back that control. I asked for what I wanted for, and I received a package that was very generous. And after hanging up the call from talking to my VP, I can tell you, there was a complete shift in who I was becoming. I was no longer in a space of fear, worry, doubt, not feeling valued, to actually owning my value, owning who I had become, owning the person that sees herself in a situation where she was being slighted to the side, not let go like a lot of her colleagues had been, but slighted to the side, and understanding if the company wasn't valuing me, why would I value myself being in that company anymore? So I made that decision. And I can tell you the freedom and the feeling that overcame me at that particular point in time was so powerful and so freeing. And it was like this veil of heaviness just dropped to the floor. And it was incredible. And I can tell you, that was a momentous occasion for me when I stepped into my power and made that decision. Now, the messy part, maybe 3 to 4 months later, after the exhilaration, felt, who am I now? Who am I becoming now? These were the questions I had to pose to myself. Because for about 3 to 4 months, I was like, that release, that happiness, that joy of who I was and owning who I was so strong. But about 4 months in, I started thinking, what's next? Who do I get to become now? How do I get to show up? And what do I choose to do? Who do I choose to be? And who do I choose to serve? And those 3 questions were so powerful for me as I was choosing what I was going to do next in my career and in my life. So let's dive in, because I want you to understand that the moment that you value yourself, the whole world starts to value you. And that became my new North Star. I decided to show up and give, not to prove, but to serve. Not to hustle, but to live in alignment. So here's what I want you to know. If you're at that same edge, that same stage as I was when I was making that decision to call my VP, you're not too old. I was 60 when this happened. You're not too late. You can reinvent yourself at any stage and any age in life. And you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the first step. And what matters is not how polished you are, but how true you are to yourself. You get to decide what feels best for you right now, and that's where your power lies. And if that decision starts with a whisper, follow it. Because whispers become doorways, and doorways lead to freedom. And that's what I was able to do. I was able to understand that there was a purpose for me that was so much bigger than what I had already been living. And I was able to reinvent myself and to create something that was truly soul aligned. And that's why I created Sovereign Soul. Because I've seen so many women throughout the years that have given away their soul to be the wife, the lover, the mother, the grandmother, the sister, the daughter, and being everything for everybody else. And sometimes we forget when we're in alignment, that we are now powerful. And that's when we get to show up in our true essence, our true alignment, and the true space that we were created for. And trust me when I say, when you make this type of decision, when you step forward into your own power and really value who you've become, you get to make decisions on where you are and what you choose to be. I would like to invite you to walk with me. I have a program called Return to Her. It's a 5-day soulful meditation and journaling reflection that you get to do on your own time. Because it's time to return softly, powerfully, and fully to the woman you've always been. So I wanted to create this for you so that you have an invitation to pause, reflect, and rise. Whether you're navigating a life shift like I did, craving a deeper alignment, which is what I found, or just longing to hear your own voice again, this 5-day journey will guide you back to yourself. It's a blend of soulful audios, gentle journaling prompts, so you can really tap into you and who you are inside, and some energetic guidance that I've created for you. And hopefully you'll release what's no longer serving and reconnect with the version of you who is ready to rise. And so the link will be below in the show notes. And I offer you that opportunity along with a few other things that I'll have linked as well. That's where I like a lot of my clients, the potential clients, to start, because we need to know where you are. And I would love for you to just step into yourself and go inside. Because oftentimes we're so busy with everybody else around us that we really don't get to focus on ourselves. And it's simple to do. It's not long. But take 5 days and just really think about the meditation and the journaling and be true to yourself. Because nobody else deserves to be able to align. We take you off your alignment. You deserve to be in soulful alignment every single day. So I look forward to hearing from you. Please put in the comments if anything resonated with you today, because this isn't our midlife crisis. This is our comeback. This is where we get to really create who we choose to be on our terms. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review if this resonated, Make sure you go into the comments if there's something that you want some more information on or something that you would like me to speak about a bit more or to go into more details on things, because you never know who's waiting for their permission to make their own leap. But I know that you're worth it, and that every time that we take back a little piece of our power, a little piece of our value, we grow truly into the woman we've always desired to be. So sending you love, grace, and sovereignty. I'm Sally, and I will see you next week.